Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka. This is the National News Broadcast coming to you live from the Rupavahini Studios. Bringing you your stories for today is Clifford Richards and I'm Shara Mascarenhas. First, it's a look at the day's headlines. A suspect has been arrested in connection with the murder of child Fatima in Attalugama. Litro gas will be released to the market from tomorrow. An increase in the charges for reserving train seats. The President instructs officials to utilize the Eppavala phosphate deposit for prosperous enriched fertilizer manufacturing. The SJB presents 5 proposals for the 21st Constitutional Amendment. 243 children killed in attacks against Ukraine. 444 persons have been injured. The Gujarat Titans team wins the IPL Championship trophy. On to our leading story for today. Now, a 29-year-old person has been arrested for the death of a 9-year-old in Attalugama. It's been truly devastating, Clifford. Over the past couple of days, we've been hearing so many news, and today we found the murderer, and now there are more updates on this saying that it was due to drown.
Very, very unfortunate indeed. And in fact, the judiciary has granted permission to detain and interrogate for 2 days a suspect taken into custody with the killing of child Fatima Aisha in Attalugama, Bandaragama. Well, this order has been delivered when the suspect was produced before the Panadura Magistrate Courts this afternoon. Well, this 29-year-old arrested suspect is a resident of the Muslim colony in Attalugama. He's a father of 3 daughters and his wife is expecting a baby. Our correspondent says the post-mortem of the victim was conducted at the Panadura General Hospital today. Police media spokesman SSP Nihal Taldua said that the post-mortem has revealed that the child was not subjected to rape. Water and mud had seeped through the nose and mouth of the child victim. The doctors suspected the main reason for the death could be the accumulation of these substances in her lungs. He added that the police arrested the suspect in connection with the murder yesterday. The suspect was residing closer to the residence of the child victim and also related to her. Investigations conducted so far have revealed that she was abducted while arriving at a nearby boutique and taken to a marshy land. Further interrogations are underway.
මේ පුද්ගලයා මෙම දැරිවිය කඩේට ගොස් පැමිණෙන අවස්ථාවේ ඔහු මාර්ගයේ රැඳී සිට ඇති බවත් ඉන්පසුව මෙම දැරිවිය කැඳවාගෙන මේ මඩවගුරු ප්‍රදේශයට ගොස් ඇති බවටත් දැනට කරන ලද විමර්ශනවලදී අනාවරණය වී තිබෙනවා. එසේම මේ පුද්ගලයා යම් කිසි ආකාරයක එම අවස්ථාවේ ඇති වූ තැතිගන්නමක් නිසා දැරිවිය සිදුවීමට ලක්කට නොමැති බවත් මෙම දැරිවිය නැවත නිවසට පැමිණියොත් මේ පුද්ගලයා පිළිබඳ යම් අනාවරණයක් සිදු විය හැකි නිසා මෙම ඝාතනය සිදු කර ඇති බවටත් පොලිසිය දැනට සැක කරනු ලබනවා. කෙසේ වුවත් තවදුරටත් මෙම සැකකරුගෙන් ප්‍රශ්න කරමින් විමර්ශන කටයුතු සිදු කරනු ලබනවා.
The chairman of the National Child Protection Authority, senior lecturer Uday Kumar Amarasinghe, says that parents should focus more attention on their children in order to prevent the occurrence of such crimes. Chairman of the National Child Protection Authority says that he believes that this is a message given to society. This is not to expose children to the association of suspected persons, leaving room for abuse. Meanwhile, public representatives have met relatives of the child victim and expressed their condolences. A brother of the deceased requests the government to grant justice on behalf of her sister. Well, sigh of relief for people waiting to buy gas, and the Litro gas company says that the distribution of gas will recommence from tomorrow.
Accordingly, 50,000 gas cylinders are scheduled to be released to the market by tomorrow afternoon. A ship carrying 3,500 metric tons of gas has reached the island this morning. Unloading of gas from the vessel has commenced. They will be delivered to the consumers from tomorrow afternoon. Details regarding sales representatives who have received gas stocks could be obtained from the website www.litrogas.com. A program to register Litro and Loves Gas consumers in the Hatton-Decoya Municipal Council limits has got underway today. Divisional Secretary of the Amagamuwa, Ruini Sitara, has presided over the conducting of the program. The aim of the program is to distribute domestic gas cylinders among the consumers without a problem. Minister Kanchana Vijayasekara has recorded a statement in his Twitter account around 12 noon today regarding his existing fuel stocks. The message said that 14,433 metric tons of diesel, 58 metric tons of super diesel, 41,978 metric tons of octane, 92 petrol, 14,041 metric tons of octane and 95 petrol at 1,621 metric tons of the aircraft fuel are presently available in the country. Another ship carrying diesel was scheduled to have arrived in the country this evening. Another Twitter message released by the minister says that a minor technical fault has been reported at the Sapogaskanda oil refinery. The staff at the refinery are engaged in rectifying the error. The production would commence soon after the repairs. Manufacturing at the refinery has remained halted for 3 months. Minister Kanchana Vijayasekara has conducted talks with New Zealand High Commissioner in Sri Lanka Michael Appleton at the Ministry of Power and Energy. The discussion was centred on several issues including plans pertaining to the management of the present crisis and short and long-term renewable energy sources. Attention has also been focused on ways of receiving the assistance of the New Zealand for Sri Lanka's energy sector. Minister Kanchana Vijayasekara further says the country needs $554 million for the importation of fuel for the month of June alone. $100 million out of this month could be obtained from the remaining sum of the Indian credit line. Talks were conducted with the Governor of the Central Bank this morning to find ways to receive the remaining amount. Fuel distribution is being carried out as usual in many districts. Fuel could be received without a shortage from every filling station in Polonnaruwa. Farmers in Vaunia have commenced cultivation activities upon receiving adequate quantities of fuel for Yala season paddy cultivation in the area. A discussion to accumulate information for the formation of new program for provision of fuel to fishermen in the north was conducted at the Jaffna Ministerial Coordinating Office under the leadership of Minister Douglas Devananda. Fishermen in the north using minor equipment and multi-day fishing craft operators are being subjected to severe difficulties due to not providing fuel to their cans. The police has arrested a suspect with illegal possession of 859 litres of petrol in Vallavaya. The Dumalasuriya police station has arrested today a person who was engaged in selling petrol without having a license. The police has also apprehended 87 litres of petrol hidden in a residence in Divrampola. The Petroleum Distributors Association requests the general public to refrain from behaving in an unruly manner at filling stations. The association has expressed opinion in connection with the incident of assaulting employees and damaging fuel pumps at the filling station in Karandaniya, Alpitia. The All Ceylon Poultry Businessmen's Association says problems have arisen in the manufacturing of animal feed due to the restrictions in the importation of raw materials.
The Department of Railways decides to increase charges for train seat reservations for passengers from 30% onwards. The new charge will come into effect from the 1st of next month. Deputy General Manager Commerce of Railways V.S. Polvathage said at a media briefing today that charges of normal train fares have not been increased. The Deputy General Manager Commerce of Railways, V.S. Polvathage, says that the fares have been increased as a strategy and not to add more burden to the normal train passengers. The seat reservation charges in the first class of the upcountry track to Kandy has been increased up to 1,700 from 1,000 rupees. He added that the seat reservation charge to Badulla will be increased to 2,500 rupees. The first class seat reservation charge to Kurunagala in the northern track has been increased to 1,800 from 1,000 rupees. He further said that reservation fare to Anuradhapura increased to 2,000 from 1,200 rupees. Reservation charge for Kankesanture has been increased to 2,800 from 1,700 rupees. On the Batticaloa line, the seat reservation charge has been increased to 1,900 from 1,000 rupees. The old seat reservation fare of 1,200 rupees to Mahava has also been increased to 1,900. The train seat reservation to Polonnaruwa has been increased to 2,000 rupees from 1,300 rupees. The charge up to Batticaloa has been increased to 2,300 rupees from 1,500 rupees. Accordingly, seat reservation charges for first, second and third class journeys have been increased from 30% depending on the distance of the journey. Well, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has instructed officials today on optimum utilization of the Eppavala phosphate deposit in the manufacturing of fertilizer enriched with phosphorus required for cultivation in the upcoming Maha season.
The attention of the government has been focused on the speedy formulation of a national policy. The President has made these observations at a discussion at the President's office in Fort. The talks also dealt with the issue of minimizing the impending food shortages in the crop cultivations in the Yala season. The Minister Mahinda Amaravira and officials of the line institutions have attended the talks, and the President further said on this occasion that the state and private sectors should be immediately embarked upon food security program. Discussions are underway with several countries on the procurement of fertilizer requirements. Therefore, the President has requested the farmers not to abandon farming in the Yala season. A proper coordination should be maintained between the farmers and the officials over the issues of importing fertilizer based on a national fertilizer policy and distribution and management of fertilizer requirements. The farmers should be accorded the opportunity to select the types of fertilizer through the intervention of the Ministry of Agriculture. It has also been reiterated at the meeting that the farmers should be given an opportunity to earn an additional income by engaging in interim crop cultivations in lands not utilized for paddy cultivations. The President has also ordered the officials to take measures to immediately release lands belonging to the National Livestock Resources Development Board at the Kandakadu farm for the cultivation of maize, soya and other crops. The government owns a high percentage of lands which have not yet been utilized for the cultivation purposes. It has been decided to hand over such lands to young farmers. Another decision has been taken to inaugurate a cultivation promotion week. It has also been decided to provide funds without being subjected to restrictions reserved for the provincial councils for the development of agriculture, livestock resources and freshwater fishing industry. The meeting has also looked into ways of supplying animal feed with the aim of controlling the prices of milk, eggs and chicken. Plans have been prepared to minimize post-harvest damages, preventing of food wastage and preservation through appropriate storage mechanism and propagation of alternate types of food.
And also President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that we all have an understanding on the problems of the agricultural sector. He further said that we must now find solutions to these problems. The President has added that they have been conducting discussions continuously with India. He further said that the Indian authorities have promised yesterday to somehow resolve the problems relating to chemical fertilizer, including urea, within 3 days. He has also called upon farmers not to abandon the Yala season farming. The aim is to increase harvest as much as possible. The President has also pointed out that there is a decline in the paddy harvest. The shortfall should be covered with increased cultivations of crops such as green beans and also cowpea prior to the commencement of the Maha season. The President has also pointed out that the government owns the largest share of land in the country. The government has more uncultivated lands and that of the farmers. He has also stressed on the need to allocate farmlands of the Department of Agriculture for the cultivations to engage in speedy grow more food programs. Well, the World Bank has agreed to provide $700 million to Sri Lanka.
The pledge to grant aid was disclosed at a meeting between the Foreign Minister Professor Gia Peiris and the World Bank resident manager in Sri Lanka, Mrs. Wayokanda, at the Foreign Ministry today. The minister has requested the World Bank to assist Sri Lanka until international financial funds and donor nations provided long-term assistance. The World Bank resident manager has requested to restructure the projects being implemented by international organizations such as the Asian Development Bank, the Asian Infrastructure Facilities Investment Bank and the United Nations in Sri Lanka. The Colombo Magistrate Court has ordered today to consider tomorrow the bail appeal filed against Mrs. Shashi Veeravansha, who has been imposed a prison sentence. The Colombo Chief Magistrate has issued summons to the Attorney General to clarify his stance regarding the request. The Colombo Magistrate Court has sentenced Shashi Veeravansha for 2 years of rigorous imprisonment and a fine of 100,000 rupees last Friday after being found guilty to the charges of keeping in her possession a forged diplomatic passport. An appeal has been filed on the same day by the counsellors of Mrs. Veeravansha. A case filed against a group including former Minister Vimal Veeravansha over causing public discomfort by engaging in an agitation blocking roads. The suspects have been accused of engaging in such a blockade in Thummulla, Colombo in 2016 when United Nations High Commissioner of Human Rights was visiting the country. Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa has presented the 21st constitutional amendment to draft to the Amarapura Mahasangha Sabha today. The draft is to be handed over to all religious leaders.
Well, the Mahanayaka of the Amarapura Maha Sangha Sabha, the most venerable Dodampahala Chandusiri Thero, has received the draft.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා බුදු ජන පෙරමුණේ කෙනෙකුට තමයි ඕ විට හැකියාව තියෙන්නේ ශක්්‍යතාවය තියෙන්නේ මේකේ ජනාධිපතිවරයා විදිහට පාර්ලිමේන්තුවෙනුත් පත් වේ. ඉතින් ඒ පත් වෙන කෙනා
Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa said that even if the president leaves the office, only the party which has the majority vote in parliament will be able to assume duties in the post of presidency. The majority party in parliament is the Pohottuwa party or the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna. The next candidate for the post could be Basil Rajapaksa, who wields power in the party. He questioned whether he could be a better president than Gotabaya Rajapaksa to the protesters at the Goldface Green. The minister further said that as they are unable to resolve the dispute according to the wishes of the agitators, they have decided to present the 21st Amendment. He added that they have taken measures to draft a new constitution as well. The matter will come under discussion at the meeting of party leaders on Friday. A decision is also scheduled to be taken at the next cabinet meeting on Monday. Well, the Samagi Jana Balawege says that a new item or a news item published in a national newspaper today regarding the SJB not agreeing with the 21st constitutional amendment is false.
The former parliamentarian Ajit P. Pereira said at a media briefing today that his party supports the 21st Amendment subjected to several conditions. Former parliamentarian Ajit P. Pereira said that the SJB does not agree with some of the facts in the draft presented by Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa. The SJB position was clarified at a meeting with the government last Friday. If the shortcomings were rectified, the SJB is prepared to vote in favour of the amendment in Parliament. The 19th constitutional amendment, which states that the President does not have powers to take over any ministry, should be included in the 21st Amendment as well. He added that the Parliament should have more flexible authority in dissolving Parliament. The SJB proposes to adopt a proposal relating to the majority of parliamentarians having the authority to dissolve Parliament. The member further said that the draft does not cover the issue of the abolition of the executive presidency.
ජනාධිපතිවරයාට කිසිම අමාත්‍යාංශයක් දැරීමට නොහැකි කියන ප්‍රතිපාදනය මෙම කෙටුම් පතරට
Well, President of the United National Party and former parliamentarian Vajira Abewardena says that what the people want at this moment is not a constitutional amendment but solutions to their economic problems. Addressing a media briefing today in Colombo, former parliamentarian Vajira Abewardena said that the cabinet paper on the abolition of the executive presidency was presented to the cabinet in August of 2019. At the same time, he recalled that the MPs were shouting saying that UNP presented the draft in order to win the presidential election. He added that the then Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe withdrew the cabinet paper as it paved the way to the splintering of the cabinet into two groups. The power-hungry rivalry in their party had deprived the opportunity to abolish the executive president at that moment. He added that thereafter, the 20th Amendment was presented and leading to dual citizens representing parliament. Dual citizens should be banned from holding higher positions in government or representing parliament, he said.
The chief incumbent of the Ruan Valley Mahasaya, Venerable Palligama Hemaratana Thero, also says certain groups are propagating false statements regarding the newly installed Chudamanikya and the golden plate at the Ruan Valley Mahasaya. The Venerable Thero, in a letter to the IGP, requests to make an investigation on the issue and immediately remove the relevant video films from the internet. The Venerable Thero further says a foundation named Vishwa Parami has shouldered the entire financial expenditures for the installation of the Chudamanikya and the golden plate at the Ruan Valley Chaitya on the 25th of November 2019. However, false accusations have been levelled regarding the stealing of gemstones valued at 40 billion rupees in the Chudamanikya.
Well, today is the 52nd day of the people's protest in front of the presidential secretariat in Goldface Green. Well, the agitators were shouting slogans amidst torrential rain last night as well. Our correspondent says that even small children were amongst the protesters. A group of parents and relatives of missing persons were engaged in a protest at the site this morning. A program is being implemented to provide cooked food to the protesters at this location. Well, the Samagi Jana Balawegya has presented 5 proposals to the draft bill of the 21st constitutional amendment introduced by the government. A letter including the proposals under the signature of the party General Secretary Ranjit Madhum Bandara was forwarded to Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe today.
The first proposal is that the President is unable to keep under his leadership the ministries. The removal of this requirement through a public referendum is not necessary as legal advice has been provided. The second proposal is that in addition to the Governor of the Central Bank, all other members of the Financial Board should be appointed according to the recommendations of the legislature. The other proposal deals with the setting up of an independent commission to give priority in recommending and evaluating development projects being implemented in the country. The fourth proposal of the SJB says that it is compulsory for all people's representatives from the President to the Prime Minister to the governors and other high-ranking officials to declare their assets. The final proposal says that all stolen property should be returned to the government. Stories for you from Ukraine coming up next.
හොඳම දේ විශ්වාසයෙන් ට්‍රීට් කරන්න. Prima Treats. Life is a treat.
Welcome back. Heading into news overseas, still no signs of any kind of solution to the Russia-Ukraine crisis. Well, Russian troops are moving into the city of Severodonetsk from its outskirts, says its city officials. Well, it is reported that several neighboring cities are still under Ukrainian control, while the main road to the cities had been shelled but not blocked. 2 civilians were killed and 5 others wounded amid shelling. The governor of the Luhansk province said that there is no gas or water in Severodonetsk and no possibility of restoring these services. Meanwhile, the governor of the Kharkiv region says Russian forces damaged 2,229 high-rise buildings, of which 225 have been destroyed. A Ukrainian member in parliament visiting Britain had urged the West to supply long-range rockets to her country and warned without further military help, her country would be risked in a deadlock.
Authorities in Shanghai have announced that some of the COVID-19 lockdown measures imposed on businesses will be lifted from the 1st of June. Plans have also been introduced to support the city's economy, which has been hit by the restrictions. The commercial centre has been under strict lockdown for almost 2 months. Meanwhile, China's capital Beijing has reopened parts of its public transport system as well as some shopping malls and other venues as infections ease. The announcement in Shanghai came as official figures showed that daily coronavirus cases fell to 122 from 170 over the previous 24 hours. Officials said guidelines to curb the spread of the COVID-19 and the controlled number of people returning to work will be revised.
Well, renewable energy, and it is hybrid. China's first hybrid power plant using both solar and tidal power officially went into operation yesterday. Well, China's first hybrid power plant using both solar and tidal power officially went into operation yesterday, located in Weijing City of East China's Zhejiang province. It is built at the same site with the country's largest tidal plant, covering over 133 hectares. The photovoltaic equipment was designed to complement the tidal power generation. With an installed capacity of 100 megawatts, the project can ensure a more stable power supply as solar energy is not available at all times during nights or rainy weathers, while tidal energy derived from the moon's gravity helps secure constant energy generation. It has created a new mode of comprehensive utilization of renewable energy.
Terima Kotumi Pantan.
On to your sports update now, and we are moving to the Narendra Modi Stadium to bring you some updates as to what happened, the action that happened yesterday. Gujarat's had a bit of a celebrations and much more, playing against Rajasthan Royals, but it was also the stunning 15th celebration of the India Premier League that they held a new Guinness World Record.
Yeah, it needs added celebration because it is their debutant game and debutant series, and also they're winning the series. The Gujarat Titans won the championship trophy of the Indian Premier League tournament by defeating Rajasthan Royals team in the finals yesterday. Nearly 160,000 spectators watching the match played at the Narendra Modi Cricket Stadium in Ahmedabad. The Rajasthan Royals scored 130 for the loss of 9 wickets at the end of 20 overs. Hardik Pandya captured 3 wickets for 17. Gujarat Titans team hit the winning score 133 in just 18 overs and 1 delivery. Shubman Gill and David Miller of the victorious team have remained unbeaten with 45 and 32 runs respectively. This is the first occasion of the Gujarat Titans team competing in an IPL tournament.
Here we go, up and over. Oh, what a calling. That's in the air. And again.
Anytime at home, if there is a cricket match, I know that fans around the world, especially here at home, are ever ready. But when we have the Aussies back at home, and especially after 6 years, it's a match that we can't miss.
Well, the Aussies are scheduled to arrive in Sri Lanka. After 6 years, they will engage in 3 T20 matches, 5 ODIs and 5 Test matches from the 7th of next month until the 12th of July. All matches will be telecast over ChannelEye. The first and second T20s will be worked at the Art Premdasa Stadium in Colombo on the 7th and 8th of next month. The third T20 match will be played at Pallekele and also the 11th of next month as well. The final Sri Lankan cricket team for the tournament has not yet been disclosed. 2 favourite Sri Lanka players of the tournament would be Wanindu Hasaranga, who has secured 11th place in the world rankings on all-rounders, and batsman Pathum Nissanka, who is at the 9th position in the world batting ratings. Captain Dasun Chanaka has received the 47th position of the international gradings on batsmen.
Terima Kotumi Pantan.
With that, we end the news for tonight. Together with Clifford, I'm Shram Mascarenas, wishing you a very pleasant evening.